bringing you the news and information you need from the people making a difference. This is Comcast Newsmakers.
What's up with those oil prices, and what do they really mean? When we talk about them internationally, of course, nothing's more important as to what they really mean to us close to home. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us. I'm Joe Pasicchia, and this is Comcast Newsmakers, but it is an international world that we share. Wende Nachman is with us. She's the director of the New Jersey Citizen Action Oil Group. We're going to talk about today's oil market, try to understand it. While we can't get into prices per se exactly, because they fluctuate every day. Good to see you.
You too.
What gauges the prices of these, and why are we right now in an element where we're going up higher and higher?
Well, you know, oil prices have always fluctuated for many different reasons, and that can be unrest in the Middle East, supply and demand. There could be a strike somewhere in South America. Any of these things can affect the prices of oil. But right now, more than anything, if you've noticed, last year, the price of a barrel of oil was about $50. And this year, it's reached $100. And that is a huge difference, a huge difference. And they speculate that about maybe half of the increase is due to supply and demand. We know that developing countries are using more oil. The U.S. uses a lot of oil. And the supply and demand has shot way up. But the other half of that increase is actually from speculation and what is considered dark markets, trading, heating oil.
You know what, Wendy's so amazing. You're way too young for this, but of course, folks like my age and up, we remember the 70s waiting in line for all the gas, and it was like, you know what, when you're an older guy, there's not going to be any gasoline left. We're all going to be electric cars. Then what happened? All of a sudden, we had all these SUVs. All of that didn't seem like it was going to be something we could have even foresaw back in the 70s. Now, is this the real time when we're starting to, see that we're going to be, having to pay the due? Or are we going to be driving big SUVs and there's going to be like freestyle gas going all over the place in a couple years anyway?
Well, Americans love their oil. And we love the big SUVs. Almost everybody has one now. But you do hear a lot of talk in the market, especially now, about how, maybe in 25 years, there isn't going to be any, or maybe 10 years from now, or just 5 years from now, 2 years from now, something is going to have to change because it's a limited commodity. But, there are still untapped resources out there that we aren't using. So I don't think anybody knows for sure. Nobody can really stamp the date on oil when we're going to run out.
We have big concerns, of course, with our relationships across the world. We see China as a major user of energy right now. Our issues with Venezuela, how important it is that they're providing in our relationship with them. But the bottom line is, it's not easy to refine all of this oil. It's out there in many ways, and maybe we haven't done enough in our country to refine it as it gets to us. Do we need to do that right now?
There are other things that we should be doing. For instance, biodiesel. Big thing right now. Everybody's talking about biodiesel and what it's going to do to the oil industry. And there's biodiesel out there right now that people can be using in their cars and in their heaters for people that heat with oil. But specifically in New Jersey, none of the refineries have the capability yet to blend the biodiesel. So it's not available to us. And a lot of people would rather go greener. They don't mind spending, right now it'd be maybe 2 cents more per gallon to use biodiesel. But people, it's not available to them. They want to be green, but it's not available.
You're making me think, of course, in this land of Thomas Alva Edison, it's always like necessity breeds invention. You're saying it right now. All of us, we're ready. Are we at that point of necessity yet? Are you hoping that we'll start being innovative?
I hope that we will. I really do. Because, oil isn't exactly the best for the environment. Biodiesel makes it a little bit better, cuts down on some of the pollution, and it's available, and we need to be able to use it. We need that choice.
Great to see you, Wende.
You too. Thank you.
She's Wende Nachman, director of the New Jersey Citizen Action Oil Group. I'm Joe Pasicchia for Comcast Newsmakers, seen exclusively here on Comcast Cable. Thank you for watching. In many ways, we want to talk about saving your life. You know what? When we talk about shelter at this time of the year, You know how cold it is out there. Well, 19% of you use oil heat. Let's make sure you're using it wisely. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us. I'm Joe Pasikia, and this is Comcast Newsmakers. Wende Nachman is with us, director of the New Jersey Citizen Action Oil Group. We're going to talk about oil heating tips. Good to see you.
You too.
And when I always say that through this type of a topic, we always say about saving someone's life because we really mean this. Please do not get creative if you're having a hard time with your bill. Do not get creative if you're not able to heat your home, because people die that way. So let's get that out right first and foremost. Don't be creative that way.
That's right, especially when heating oil prices are so high like they are this year. People do risky things to heat their home because they just can't afford the oil. They sleep in front of an open oven door. They use fireplaces that maybe haven't been cleaned yet.
We're saying all this not for examples, because you do not do this, okay? Because we know what happens. We've worked in news, we've covered these stories. They're not good. And the alternative is so much better. In fact, if you're having a problem with the utility, let them know about it, because they're going to help you, aren't they?
Absolutely, absolutely. There are many programs throughout the state that can help with heating oil. Number one being New Jersey Citizen Action Oil Group. We get people a discount on their home heating oil, and our members save hundreds of dollars a year, usually over $500 a year on their home heating oil.
And even if you're not a member of that group, there's a nonprofit website on the screen that'll open you up to other things like LIHEAP. The bottom line, and we can't stress it enough, is that there are folks out there to help. Do not freeze and do not get creative. But the reality is there's other things that you could do as you're doing this to be wise. Let's go through some of them.
Sure. Besides the oil group, you have programs like LIHEAP, which is Low Income Home Energy Assistance Program. And people that meet a certain income, that are lower income, can apply for this program, and it gives you, the federal government will send you a check, and you can put it towards your electric or your gas.
Thermostat, Wende, what's your advice on a thermostat?
The best thing to do is to buy a programmable thermostat that you can turn down at night, that you can turn down during the day when you're not there.
Key point, you just said turn down at night. Some folks may think for some reason, hey, you know what, I'm going to bed, it's going to be cold, raise it. No, it's just the opposite.
Right.
Any temperature you would advise?
We tell people to stick with about 68.
Okay. And when you leave the home, don't lower it all the way down, because then when you come back, it's going to have to work extra hard to get back up.
Right. The first thing people like to do when they walk in the house is to crank it up to 85 because it's cold, because it was down. But it's not going to warm your house up any quicker. Just raise it maybe a couple of degrees to keep you comfortable while you're home.
We've probably done this topic a million times, but you need to check your windows and your door. If you're feeling a draft coming in around the lock or whatever, you go to the local building supply store and they sell things that you can put on there nice and easy. Right.
You could do weather stripping. There are many things that you can do to help keep the efficiency in your heating system running good in your house.
Does every temperature amount, like I say, is there a big difference between 68 and 70? Is there? And if there is, I mean, maybe you may want to be less refrain. Maybe you want to refrain less from going too high on the temperature.
Right. I mean, most people are comfortable at 68, between 68 and 70. And you'll notice maybe when you first walk in, you're a little chilly, but put a sweater on for the first half hour that you're home. Or, you know, wrap yourself up in a blanket, but you don't want to crank the heat way up. Any
differences between this? We mentioned 90% of New Jerseyans use oil to heat their homes. Is it any different of an animal?
You know what? There isn't, right now this year, there is a difference between heating your home with oil and gas. Heating oil is more expensive this year. However, in the past few years, they've been about the same. So, you know, if you convert from oil to gas, you're going to spend thousands of dollars converting. So you really want to weigh your options.
And again, we'll finish it as we started it off. Don't get too creative. Please, there's people out there to help. Thank you so much for being with us.
You're welcome.
And she is one of them, Wende Nachman, director of the New Jersey Citizens Action Oil Group. I'm Joe Pasikia for Comcast Newsmakers, which is seen exclusively here on Comcast Cable. Thank you for watching.